Once upon a time in 19th century, in a small kingdom in North India, there lived a widow and her only son. Her husband had succumbed to a terrible plague, leaving the widow to fend for herself and her young boy. To make ends meet, she worked tirelessly in the homes of wealthy townsfolk, performing menial tasks. Life was hard, but she did her best to raise her son, hoping for a better future for him. She managed to send him to a local school, dreaming that education would bring him opportunities she never had. But the boy was mischievous and often found himself in trouble. One day, while at school, he quietly slipped a notebook from another student's bag into his own. Thrilled by his small victory, he rushed home to show his mother the notebook he had stolen. To his surprise, his mother was not angry. Instead, she smiled and praised him for his cunning. "You're so smart," she exclaimed. "You'll get ahead in life if you're clever like this." Encouraged by her reaction, the boy's path was set, but not for the better. As days passed, the boy's thievery grew bolder. He started stealing bigger items, clothes, tools, food, anything of value that he could sell. His mother never reprimanded him. Instead, she grew increasingly comfortable as the stolen goods filled their home, easing their poverty. Over time, the boy dropped out of school entirely, finding his calling in theft. He became known as the town's most skilled and elusive thief. Years passed, and the boy, now a man, had become infamous for his crimes. He no longer limited his thefts to the townspeople. His ambition grew, and he dared to steal from the kingdom's palace itself. One night, he slipped into the royal chambers and made away with a fortune in jewels and gold. But his success was short-lived. The king's guards tracked him down, captured him, and threw him into prison. The kingdom was in shock. A public execution was scheduled to make an example of the notorious thief. On the day of his hanging, the townspeople gathered to witness the event. The thief, standing on the gallows with a rope around his neck, was asked if he had any last wishes. To everyone's surprise, he said, "I wish to see my mother, just once." The crowd murmured, and soon the thief's mother was brought forward, trembling and tearful. The thief requested to speak with her in private, and as she bent her head toward him, he suddenly bit her ear with all his might. Blood poured from the wound, and the mother cried out in pain. The courtiers were horrified and demanded an explanation. The thief, now facing death, spoke with bitterness. "This woman," he said, pointing at his mother, "is the reason I am here today. When I was a child, she encouraged my first theft, praised my cunning, and never taught me right from wrong. Had she scolded me, had she stopped me then, I would not be facing the gallows today. It is her misplaced pride in my evil deeds that has led me to this fate." The thief's words echoed through the crowd, silencing the murmurs and whispers. The king, watching from his throne, understood the truth in the man's accusation. The mother, racked with guilt, collapsed to the ground, realizing too late the consequence of her choices. The thief was hanged that day, but his story lived on as a cautionary tale for generations to come. Lessons from the story. Nip evil in the bud. The mother's failure to correct her son's wrongdoings at an early stage allowed his misdeeds to grow. A small act of theft, when encouraged, led to larger crimes and eventually a tragic end. The story teaches that bad behavior, no matter how small, must be corrected early before it grows into something far more dangerous. 2. Parental responsibility. The story underscores the vital role parents play in shaping their children's morals. By turning a blind eye to wrongdoing or encouraging it, a parent can unknowingly set their child on a path of destruction. In the end, this tragic tale serves as a reminder that encouraging or even ignoring unethical behavior can lead to irreversible consequences. The lesson is clear. If we do not stop evil at its inception, it will only grow, taking us down a path we may one day regret. Please subscribe to my channel for more insightful tales.